Welcome back to Penguin Game Day from the Bull and Bear here on the campus of Youngstown State University at the corner of Elm and Lincoln. Coach Phillips joins us once again. Michigan State up next, Coach, and I know, a Big Ten school, obviously, they're an FBS school, Power 5 conference, but you guys are ready for the challenge.
It is a great challenge. Their budget's probably a lot bigger than our budget and scholarships and all that, but, at the end of the day, it's playing football, and it's can you execute? Can you prepare a game plan, go in and execute at the highest level? And that's the challenge this week that, we're excited to see.
Well, let's take a closer look at the Spartans. They're 2-0. This is the fourth meeting between the programs, and their quarterback is Aiden Childs, averages about $194 passing. And Coach, you said his NIL deal could be more than what the Penguins are getting for this game.
Yeah, it is. I don't know exactly, but that's the life in football. I never had to think about that before. I'm like, wow, things have changed. But great athlete, big, athletic. They run a pro-style offense, so they're going to set everything up by running the football and then play action pass. And at any time he breaks out of the pocket, he's a threat. But he has a big arm.
Do you get a true barometer of a game like this, of where your program is?
Yeah, you do. We're going to have to play in tough environments. We're playing a Big Ten school in the FBS. I feel like we're the Big Ten of the FCS.
Sure.
And we got to get ready to play some great teams, great programs on the road in the Fargo Dome. So for us, it's a gauge of, have we made the strides necessary to go and compete when we get the league play?
Do you kind of feel you're catching Michigan State at the right time? An emotional win over Boston College. Big Ten play begins next week. You're kind of in the middle here.
Someone asked me that. I got 119 kids. I got to worry about their mindset. I don't have 1 second of the day to worry about Michigan State's mindset. But they're having success. They didn't last year. Won 5 games, but Coach Smith's first year, and you've seen what he did at Oregon State. Won 5 games there at Oregon State and then went on a roll. And they brought in some great players in the portal, recruited great players, so they look a lot different than what they were last year.
Obviously, they're the most talented team you're going to face. What do they bring to the table?
Athleticism. Their wide receiver core is probably the best wide receiver core we'll see all year. Great running backs, great quarterback, offensive line going to be big and physical, and their front 6, 7 guys, very athletic, very big, very physical, and their 2 inside backers are tackling machines.
You talked about their offense. What do they like to do?
Yeah, they want to run the zone play, outside zone. Again, setting it up. They want to stretch you sideways and puncture you north and south. And then, they want to get you biting with your safeties and linebackers. And then they have the receivers, big physical receivers that they can throw the deep ball to.
Coach, this is 2025. Do you talk to your kids about playing this type of team, going there? Or is it all pretty much they know everything already?
No, we talk about it. We try to go visit the stadium the night before just to get that out of the way. We talk about the Pittsburgh win years ago, sure. And people will talk about that. What do you want to be remembered for? There's opportunities. And when you're playing FCS, guess what? This weighs a lot. I said at the press conference, if North Dakota beats Kansas State, shoot, they probably win 5 games. They're in the playoffs because they beat Kansas State. So it's a big deal.
Well, let's look at the rest of the Missouri Valley Conference schedule because there is a full slate of games. Indiana State is at Indiana. Now, that's a Friday night game. Northern Colorado goes to South Dakota. North Dakota is at Montana. Illinois State is at Eastern Illinois. Southeast Missouri State at North Dakota State. Elsewhere, Eastern Washington at Northern Iowa. Southern Illinois at UT Martin. Drake is at South Dakota State, Drake is at, South Dakota State, and Murray State is at Georgia State. Coach, I know you're worried about your game, but does anything stand out there with that schedule?
No, not really. Not even looking at that. I knew coming off 2 home games how important it was to win at home because we knew we were going to be on the road for 2 weeks and not be home again until October 4th. So it was huge to get those 2 wins, but excited to get our crew on the road and see how they handle the different environments.
Coach, safe travels to East Lansing. We'll see you up there, and best of luck on Saturday.
Go Gwins.
We'll have more of Penguin Game Day coming up.